fam? This is Elias Santiago coming back to you guys again with another video on how to get set up with gTrade. Have you been thinking about how you can start trading decentralized? Well, let me talk to you about what's happening inside of our community. See, a lot of these brokers that are regulated, that are governed by a central point of interest, a government, they are starting to crack down on unregulated brokers. So I'll say that again. Unregulated brokers basically are now being cracked down where we're not able to trade certain things like cryptocurrency. We're not able to trade things like commodities, indices. People are getting restricted on the certain instruments that they want to trade with. So I'm here today to share with you some of the tips and strategies that I've been using within our community and how you can start doing the same exact thing. So first things first, diving into crypto, you're going to need to understand, um, how to get set up with your certain wallets, right? Let me just reclaim host here so I can share my screen. Now you want to get in tune with hot wallets and cold wallets. So an example of a hot wallet is called Exodus, right? Here on Exodus, you have access to your crypto and you're able to own it. Um, Exodus, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, there's a bunch of different wallets out there that you're able to use. And we're going to be setting up our wallet with gTrade. Now, gTrade is so freaking cool because all you got to do is connect your wallet to the platform and boom, you start trading. So I want you to pull up Exodus and install that into your Google extensions. So you're going to go to Google extensions, you're going to download Exodus, and you're going to create an account. You're just going to create a new wallet. They're going to give you a set of words. You want to make sure that you write down those 12 uh, words, and boom, you have your wallet. Now your wallet is available to connect to gTrade. So this is what gTrade looks like. Like this is the main website here. Now I use the Solana network just because um, it's a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit more affordable with the fees and everything like that. As my computer loads up here, let me see 1 second. Let me just come right here. Perfect. This is exactly what it looks like. Now, all you're going to do is click Trade Now, and boom, it's going to open you up to our trading platform here within gTrade. Now, let's talk about funding your accounts. Funding your account. You're going to need to get set up. You're gonna you're gonna need to get set up with Solana, right? So you're gonna buy Solana, whether it's directly through the app or whether you buy it on a centralized exchange like Coinbase, Crypto.com, so on and so forth. Now, once you have the Solana, right? Once you have the Solana on your in your wallet, I'm going to also show you how to do this from your phone as well. So let me click over here to my phone and let me show you how to actually buy Solana from your device and send it to your Exodus wallet. Now you can do it on your laptop as well, but I'm going to come here to Coinbase. Now, if you don't have your Coinbase account set up, make sure that you have it set up. Make sure that you're using an encrypted email when you're logging onto these platforms just to keep yourself safe. But as far as buying Solana, you're just going to see it up here at the top. You're going to buy Sol. I like to purchase through PayPal. and we're just going to do $20 to start, right? So boom, review order, $20. Now I have my Solana. Now you always want to make sure that you have Solana sitting in your Exodus wallet. Since we're going to be trading on the Solana network, it's important to understand that we need Solana in order to transact. It's almost like you're going to a a fair, right? And you need to convert your dollars into tickets, right? So that you can participate at the fair. That's how we look at crypto, certain cryptocurrencies like Solana participating on their platforms. So we're going to move over to Exodus. Now, this is what the mobile version of Exodus looks like. As you can see, this is my portfolio here, and I have a burner wallet on my phone. So this isn't where I store all my crypto. I'm just using this wallet here to trade with in the financial markets. And I'm going to explain that more in a second. So boom, as I go into my Exodus wallet, I kind of didn't go over it, but you want to click on Solana. You want to find Solana here, and you want to click receive. So this is the address that we want to use to send our crypto from Coinbase to our wallet. Now remember, Coinbase, not your keys, not your crypto. We have no keys on Coinbase. But once we move it decentralized, once we move it over to our Exodus wallet, we now own the crypto that's in our wallet. So now we technically own the Solana that we're about to send over. As you can see, my networking fee is only 2 cents. So I'm going to hit send now. And once you hit send now, you should receive your Solana fairly quickly within Exodus. So as you can see, we just received our Solana here. And we don't want to load up, we don't want to fund up our account with all of our Solana. I'm going to explain that in a second. But let's say you're trading off of your phone, right? You're going to swipe down and you're going to see Web3 right here. Once you click Web3, you're going to click gTrade. You're going to scroll down, click gTrade. Now, because Exodus is built on top of Ethereum, we see we have a lot of apps, right? Ethereum is known for their apps, right? You can build certain apps on top of it. And, this is what the gTrade platform looks like. So you're going to come here and you're going to find Solana, right? Because we're going to be trading on the Solana network. So we're going to click trade, boom. Now, this is actually the Arbitrum network. So in order to change that, you're going to click on Arbitrum up at the top, and you're just going to click Solana. So the actual website that we're going to be trading on, just in case you were wondering, is sol.gains.trade. Sol.gains.trade. You can actually navigate up here, and you can type in the website if you're having trouble finding it. But you're just going to click sol.gains.trade. So now that we're inside of the markets, right? We have our Solana. We're gonna need to swap our Solana to USDC. That is the stable coin that we're going to be using. So I want you to think of stable coins as the dollar, right? It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It actually stays the same price. So we're going to click the arrow at the bottom, the arrow that goes right and the one that goes left. There's two arrows. That's the swap button. You're going to click swap, and we're going to find Solana. As you can see, it's right here at the top. That's the $20 that I just sent over. And then we're going to find USDC Solana. So you're going to click USDC, and then you're going to find Solana because we want to send it on the Solana chain. So just like um, you go to Toyota, right? And there's certain parts that Toyota makes, right? Or you go to a Lamborghini dealership, you have a Lamborghini, you want to service a Lamborghini. Well, you need Lamborghini parts for the car in order to get it serviced. The same thing goes when swapping our crypto. For certain cryptos, we need to be sending it on that specific network. So if we're taking Solana, we're going to have to swap it to USDC Solana, right? Not USDC Ethereum, not USDC Algorand. If we have Solana, we need to swap it into Solana. So we're going to click Solana here. Now we have $22 sitting in our wallet. Are we going to send all of the 22? Are we going to swap all of the $22? Remember, we need some Solana in our wallets to be able to transact. At least, I'd say keep 3 to 5% in your wallet if you're going to be swapping it. So I have 22 Solana here. I'm going to keep at least $3 in my wallet. So I'm going to swap $19 worth of my Solana because I remember I want to keep at least $3 in there for transactions. I want to keep at least 3 to 5% of it inside for transactions, inside my wallet for transactions. So I'm going to click swap, and boom. Now our Solana is now converted into USDC Solana. So remember, this is the token that we need in order to fund our trading account. So we have USDC Solana sitting right here. Now, once we go back to sol.gains.trade, I know I click kind of fast. Let me do it again. You're going to swipe down. You're going to click Web3. And now, since I already have the tab open, I'm just going to click tabs, click here. I already have my tab open, sol.gains.trade, trade now. I'm going to click deposit up at the top, and our USDC will be arriving any moment now. Sometimes you got to give it a little quick refresh, just so that it loads up properly. But I already have my wallet connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it just so you can see what it looks like when you're first starting. So you're going to click connect. You want to connect it to your Exodus wallet, and then you click setup. So we're going to create a PIN, 7777, click sign. We're going to approve it. You're just giving it the approval that it needs in order to fund your account. And as you can see here, where it says deposit off to the right, we have $18, 18.5 dollars sitting in our wallet. So we're gonna hit max. We're gonna deposit all the USDC that we have. Now remember, we just need a small amount of Solana sitting in our wallet. So I didn't swap the full 20, I swapped 18. So one thing that I love about crypto derivatives, that's what we're trading. We're trading perpetuals, and it actually deposits pretty fast, right? So one thing about Ethereum is ran on smart contracts. Solana is built on top of Ethereum, and things happen pretty fast. Solana is meant for speed and scalability. So we're able to scale on top of Solana for people that want to build applications. But as far as us depositing crypto, it happens like pretty fast compared to unregulated brokers. And you got to set up your KYC, and you got to take a picture in a zebra costume, and you got to upload your driver's license. That doesn't happen inside of crypto, DeFi specifically. The DeFi stands for decentralized finance. So like, let's get back to the trading, right? So as you can see, as you pull up, as you click the market tab where it says BTC up here, we can trade crypto, we can trade Forex, right? We could trade commodities, things like gold. We could trade indices like the SPY, the S&P 500. We can trade stocks. Like we can trade even meme coins if you want to. I recommend just sticking to crypto and commodities, and also Forex as well. But you can trade all these different type of pairs. And if you're in our community and you're utilizing our apps and our services, you can also take advantage of the Forex side on here as well. So now that our funds are in our wallet, if I click deposit up here, you're going to see it says underneath your account off to the right, it says $20 and 39 cents. So let's say, we get an alert on Ethereum, right? We're going to type in Ethereum here, and it's very similar to trading. You can customize your charts. The trading panel is at the bottom here. Long stands for buy and short stands for sell. So if I'm going to get in for a buy here on Ethereum, right? If I'm going to get in on a buy, I probably wouldn't buy right now, but let's just say, we're going to get in on a buy. Now, the one thing about trading um, crypto on these DeFi platforms is, you need capital to start. So if you're all right with losing your $20, I would say fund up with $20, but I would say start with like $100, $200, $300. I'm just doing this to show you guys. But if I put up my $5, right, and I'm only risking 3 to 5% of my account, I have a $500 account, and you know, um, I'm risking maybe what? That's less than 5% for sure. 10% of 500 is 50. Half of that, um, half of that is 5%. That would be $25, right? But in this case, I'm only putting up a small amount that I'm willing to lose. Collateral is what you're willing to lose. So the first thing that you want to do is, before you put up your collateral, is setting up your stop loss and your take profit. So let's say our stop loss is 33, 75, right? That's our stop loss. And our take profit is going to be 4,500, right? We got an alert. And remember, we're putting up only $5. I'm going to move my leverage over to the right. And as you can see, my risk and my take profit, my stop loss and my take profit are going up. Now, I only want to get into trades that have good risk to reward. If I leave my leverage off to the left, as you can see, I'm risking $0 for $2. You're like, Eli, I put collateral up for $5. Why is it showing 0 and 2? As you can see right here, 0 and 2. Well, if I move my leverage tool to the right, it goes up. Now I want to move it all the way up until it goes gray, right? Right before it goes gray. See, if I move it to the right a little bit more, it goes gray. But if I go back to the left a little bit, my leverage is 40.5, right? So that's perfect. Now I'm able to click market long and boom, I'm in the trade. Now, you always want to pay attention when you're getting in and out of trades as you want to pay attention to the gas fees. As you can see at the bottom, there's fees, right? Estimated gas costs at the bottom. It's 0.07 USDC. Let me tell you this story. I was in a Bitcoin trade and the markets were crashing, and I got in on a trade, and the fees were way more than my take profit. I think the fees were like $75 and my take profit was like $50. So I ended up, even though I ended up winning the trade, I ended up forced closing my trade and I took a loss. So you always want to pay attention to the gas fees. Don't close trades or open trades while gas fees are extremely high. We don't want to trade during volatility, right? So always keep that in mind. Unless you're an experienced trader, you know what you're doing. In this case, I made a mistake. I closed, but if I would have just waited a little bit more time to close, I wouldn't have paid that high of fees. Right? So these are things that you want to learn about. Positions are here. That's going to show the positions that you're in, orders, and history. So if you're familiar with trading on Trade Locker or using different platforms, it's really simple. Up here you have your time frames. You can start navigating with that. Off to the left, you have your toolbar. So right here, you have your toolbars similar to TradingView. And, I also want to show you what it looks like on your computer. You can save your charts right here. You can load them up. You can change your candlesticks. As you can see, my charts are blue and white. This was actually the trade that I took. And, it ended up not going my direction because I closed out while gas fees were high. So don't do that, guys. But I want to move back over to my laptop here. Let me see if I'll be able to move over to my laptop so I can show you um, what it looks like on our laptop. So as you can see, my Exodus wallet is here, right? Uh, And all I need to do is just reload fairly quickly. Sorry about the delay. I need to update, just really get a new laptop. Just put it that way. But once I connect to my Exodus wallet here, it's gonna ask me to approve. Now, the good thing about trading within your Exodus wallet is you don't only have to trade on your computer. You can, I mean, on your computer, you can also trade on your phone, vice versa. So as you're signing in here to your computer, you're just gonna click connect. And as you can see, it's the same wallet that I have on my phone. So remember, you want to save that seed phrase that you created with Exodus so that um, you can sign into your phone, right? You can sign into any device, regardless. If you lose your laptop, if you lose your phone, you're still good because you have your seed phrase. Those are definitely things to keep in mind as you're trading. It is taking a little bit more time for me to sign in, but you guys get the point, right? We're able to do what we do on our phone also on our laptop. Once you buy the Solana, you're going to send your Solana to Coinbase, right? Once you, I'm sorry, you're going to buy the Solana off of Coinbase, you're going to send it to Exodus. Once you have your coins on Exodus, you're going to your Solana on Exodus, you're going to swap into USDC. So if this is kind of confusing you, I would just go back and rewatch that part where I actually bought the Solana and I swapped it to USDC Solana within my Exodus wallet. Once you have that, you're just going to deposit it onto sol.gains.trade. You could either do it through your phone or your laptop. You just click setup, you connect it, and boom, you're good to go. So it's that simple. You set up your account, you're able to trade on here. A lot of people get the collateral and the leverage confused. All you would do is just click your stop loss, input your take profit, put up how much you want to risk, and then just move your leverage over to the right. Now, I want to mention one thing on gold. When you're trading certain pairs and there's low liquidity or something is going on within the network, you're going to have to put up more in collateral. So if you're like, Eli, I have my stop loss right, I have my take profit right, and I'm moving the leverage, but nothing is happening, maybe just try raising your collateral up a little bit more. Maybe risk, 3 to 5, maybe risk 5 to 10% of your account instead of, 1 to 3. So um, it's all in perspective. It's all coming together once you do the work and get through setting up your Exodus wallet, connecting it to gTrade, and of course, I'm here if you have any questions. So make sure you drop them in the chat on my YouTube channel, and I'll be able to jump in and assist you. I hope this was able to make sense. I'm still learning, still growing within the Web3 space as we go. Special thanks to Alpha Society and all of my mentors, all of my incredible mentors inside of crypto. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Be sure to set up your wallet, create that code, deposit that USDC Solana into your wallet, and boom, you're ready to start trading. As far as withdrawing, when you withdraw, you would just click your wallet. I can show you that really quick. So let's say you make decent profit in your wallet. You would just come up here, you would click withdraw, and they're gonna send you your withdrawal within 15 minutes to your Exodus wallet. So I hope that made sense. Maybe I could do another video on how to withdraw. But it's fairly simple. They're gonna give you directions when you click withdraw to do, and boom, it shows up in your wallet. I've withdrawn, it works, and I want you to know that you're safe here inside of crypto. So many blessings to you. Much love. We'll see you guys all at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. But we never look down on anyone unless we're willing to help them up. Much love, fam.